Welcome to Paradise, where we currently don't have a sun cycle, which means it's always daytime. So in this video, we're going to do just that. We're going to create a cycle for the sun to rise, and then the sun sets, and it becomes nighttime. So the way we're going to achieve that is by rotating this directional light. So what we need to do is to rotate one of these axes. Now this controls the angle of the sun, which we're going to leave at, I don't know, minus 18. This will control the height of the sun. So this will make the sun set. This will make the sun rise. So we're going to have to rotate this via scripting. One more thing that we're going to have to do is if we set the sun and it becomes nighttime, we're going to see that the sun still has intensity and it's not completely nighttime. We're going to have to decrease this intensity as well. So if we leave it at 0, we're going to see that there is no lights in here, which is good, which is what we want. And now it's complete nighttime in here. So to rotate our sun, first of all, we need a script. So what I've created here is a empty script that we're going to drag inside our sun, our directional light. Okay, so what we have in here is a fresh empty script. And before we populate the script, we need a numerator. And after you create a numerator, it expects a return function. So I'm going to write while true, we are going to wait for a certain amount of seconds. So we're going to say yield, return, wait for seconds. And after this is done waiting for a certain amount of seconds, we're going to execute the rotate function. And of course, we're going to have to build our rotate function. And all the rotate is going to do is rotate the current transform. To rotate it, we're going to say transform dot rotate, and inside the brackets, we're going to say vector3 dot up. Now, of course, we want to change the speed that the sun rotates, so we're going to add in a rotate speed. We're going to declare a rotate speed float, and we're also going to declare a cycle speed. So we're going to pass the cycle speed inside the IE numerator, and then we're going to pass in this rotate speed into our transform.rotate. And now all we need is to start this coroutine. So to start it, we need a start or awake function. So we're going to build a start function. So in the start, we're going to say start coroutine. Inside the brackets, we're going to pass in our cycle. And now, of course, we have a rotate speed and a cycle speed. Let's set this cycle speed to 0.1 and let's set this rotate speed into 1. If we now try to play the game, we're going to obviously see that the sun is rotating. And of course, the sun is actually setting. Now you can, of course, change the angle from where the sun is starting or setting by changing this Y value. So for now, I'm going to leave it to 10 maybe. And we have a perfect working setup. Now let's make this intensity go down when it goes into nighttime. So before we do anything, we need a reference to this light component. So to get the light component, we're going to say public light. And this is our light. Of course, we need to initialize this light, and we can just grab it and drag it in here, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do that via scripting. So since this script is attached to this very game object, we can just simply do light is equal to get component light. And now if we hit play, this light should initialize this light. And of course it does. Okay, now since we have a light instance, we need to change this intensity corresponding to this rotation x value. So let's create some kind of a function that firstly checks this rotation and then simply feeds it to a float variable that we'll build in here. So let's do that. Let's do a new public load and let's call it x rotation. Let's initialize that x rotation every time this rotate function is called. And we're going to do that by saying x rotation is equal to transform.rotation.EulerAngles.x. Now this x rotation should be equal to this rotation x. So let's see if it works. Okay, we have a slight change of events. We can see in here that is minus 116 and in here is 290. So let's speed up this cycle a little bit. Let's set this to 0 and let's set this to 0.5 maybe. And now we have a quicker cycle. We can see that the sun is setting when this X rotation is at 0. And it continues to rise. And then it sets when this X rotation is back to 0. So before we go any further, we want to make this intensity interchangeable. So we're going to create a new public float and call it intensity. Now we have a intensity float variable. And now let's change this intensity. So to change it, we're going to write light.intensity. And then we're going to do a simple if statement in here. And we're going to ask if the X rotation is bigger to, let's say, 120, it means it's nighttime. So the intensity is going to be equal to 0. If it's not, then it means it's daytime. And if it is daytime, we want to set the intensity to our intensity. If we try to play the game, we should see that the intensity changes depending on the daytime or the nighttime maybe. So let's set the intensity to 2 and let's simply hit play. Okay. We can see the intensity getting to 0 and then it gets to 2 whenever it's daytime. Okay, let's enjoy this sunset and it's gone. Okay, now we get to witness a sunrise into Kami's tower. Very, very magical, I know. Okay, that's about it for this video. That's all I have planned. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something from it. And I hope I see you in another tutorial. Thank you for watching and goodbye.